The knife never comes from the front. If it did, you would catch the hand. You would block the strike. You would fight back. The front is where enemies stand. The front is where war happens. But you were not at war. You were at dinner. You were laughing. You were sharing your dreams, your fears, and your weaknesses with someone you called a friend, someone you called a partner. And that is why you are bleeding. The betrayal that destroys you never comes from a stranger. A stranger cannot hurt you because a stranger has no access to your back. The betrayal always comes from the person you handed the key to. And looking back, you feel stupid. You feel blind. You replay the memories, and suddenly the red flags you painted white begin to bleed through. You see the glances, you hear the pauses. You realize that the signs were there all along, screaming at you in a language you refuse to learn. You want to believe that humans are good. You want to believe that loyalty is the default setting of the soul. Machiavelli would laugh at you. 500 years ago, in the brutal courts of Florence, Niccolo Machiavelli wrote the code that governs human nature. He did not write about how things should be. He wrote about how things are, and his verdict was cold. Men are ungrateful, fickle, false, cowardly, covetous. If you operate on the assumption that people are loyal until proven otherwise, you are walking through a minefield with your eyes closed. You are begging to be destroyed. But if you learn to see, if you learn to decode the subtle, dark mechanics of the human shadow, you become something else. You stop being a victim of betrayal and become a master of human dynamics. You can spot the traitor before they draw the blade. There are 3 specific behaviors, 3 tells, that reveal a person who is incapable of loyalty. These are not obvious. They are not the person who lies to your face. They are the person who smiles too much, the person who agrees too quickly, the person who uses honesty as a mask for deceit. We are going to dissect them. We are going to rip the mask off. By the end of this video, you will look at your circle, and you will see the cracks in the foundation, and you will finally have the permission to do what you have been too afraid to do. Cut the rope. Before we identify the 3 types of traitors, you must understand why you keep letting them in. There is a flaw in your operating system. It is called the projection of virtue. You are a decent person. You value your word. If you say you will help, you help. Because you operate this way, you project this value system onto others. You assume that because you would not betray them, they will not betray you. This is a fatal error in strategy. Machiavelli warns, a man who wishes to make a profession of goodness in everything must necessarily come to grief among so many who are not good. You are projecting your own reflection onto a wolf. The wolf does not care about your reflection. The wolf cares about hunger. Most people view trust as a feeling. I feel like I can trust him. Wrong. Trust is not a feeling. Trust is a calculation. The moment you rely on vibes or chemistry, you are prey. The greatest con artists in history, from Casanova to Bernie Madoff, were masters of vibes. They made you feel special. They made you feel understood. They used your desire for connection as the Trojan horse to enter your walls. You must stop trusting your feelings and start trusting patterns. Patterns do not lie. Words lie. Emotions lie. But behavior? Behavior is the only truth. We are going to look at 3 specific behavioral patterns that signal a dormant enemy. These are the people who are currently in your life, masquerading as allies. Traitor sign. Number 1. The weaponized vulnerability, the premature confessor. This is the most counterintuitive sign, and that is why it catches the smartest men off guard. We are taught that vulnerability is a sign of closeness. We are taught that if someone shares their pain, their secrets, or their trauma with us, it means they trust us. So you meet someone, a new friend, a new colleague, a potential romantic partner, and within the first few hours, or perhaps the first week, they dump something heavy on you. They tell you about their abusive childhood. They tell you about their crazy ex who ruined their credit. They tell you a deep, dark secret that they've never told anyone else. Your ego swells. You think, wow, They must really see something special in me. We have a deep connection. You are not special. You are a target. This is not intimacy. This is premature confession. And in the world of dark psychology, this is a transaction. Machiavelli understood that men are driven by two principal impulses, either by love or by fear. But there is a third driver: debt. When someone gives you a secret, they create an immediate subconscious debt. They have given you a piece of themselves. Now, the social contract of reciprocity demands that you give them a piece of yourself in return. So what do? You lower your shield. You tell them your secrets. You tell them about your insecurities. You tell them about the friction in your marriage or the money you're hiding from the taxman. You think you are bonding. In reality, you are handing them ammunition. The premature confessor is often a person with no boundaries. A person with no boundaries has no loyalty. If they are willing to betray their own privacy to a stranger, they will betray your privacy to the next stranger they meet. Think about it. Why would they trust you so quickly? They don't know your character. They don't know if you are a good man. They do it because it is a manipulation tactic. It is a way to speed-run trust. They want to bypass the necessary time it takes to build real loyalty by hacking your empathy. They are looking for a savior, or they are looking for a leverage point. Real trust is slow. Real trust is earned. The Romans knew this. The Spartans knew this. You did not enter the inner circle by sharing a sad story. You entered by bleeding on the same battlefield for 10 years. Beware the person who tries to fast forward the relationship. If someone tells you their darkest trauma on the first date, run. They are not looking for a partner. They are looking for a hostage. They are looking for someone to carry their baggage. And the moment you try to set a boundary, the moment you try to pull back, they will weaponize that vulnerability. They will say, I opened up to you. I trusted you. How could you be so cold? Now you are trapped. You stay because you feel guilty. And that guilt is the cage they built for you within the first hour of meeting you. Machiavelli would advise you to accept the information, but give nothing in return. Listen, observe, but keep your own cards face down. A secret shared too soon is not a gift. It is a hook. Do not bite. Traitor sign number 2. The Switzerland syndrome. The pathological neutral. I don't want to get involved. I'm just going to stay out of it. I see both sides. These sentences sound mature. They sound reasonable. They sound like the words of a peacemaker. They are the words of a traitor. In The Prince, Machiavelli writes a chapter titled, "That neutrality is often fatal." He argues that when two powers are fighting, the one who remains neutral is hated by the loser and despised by the winner. Why? Because neutrality is not a moral stance. Neutrality is a safety calculation. When a person stays neutral in the face of disrespect towards you, they are not being objective. They are hedging their bets. Let's say you are in a conflict. Someone has wronged you. Someone has stolen from you, lied about you, or disrespected you publicly. Your friend watches this happen. They know you are right. They know the other person is a snake. But when you ask for their support, they shrug. I'm friends with both of you. I don't want to choose sides. Understand this clearly. Silence is a choice. By refusing to condemn the disrespect, they are validating the disrespect. The pathological neutral values their access to people more than they value their principles. They want to be popular. They want to be liked by everyone. They want to keep all doors open. A person who wants to be liked by everyone stands for nothing. If they will not defend you when you are right, they will not defend you when you are vulnerable. This type of person is dangerous because they are invisible enemies. They don't attack you. They just step aside and let the bus hit you. And then they show up at the hospital with flowers, saying, I'm so sorry this happened to you. They are the first to congratulate you when you win, and the first to disappear when you lose. Machiavelli respected an open enemy more than a neutral friend. An enemy you can fight. An enemy declares his position. You know where he stands. The neutral friend stands on shifting sand. You build your house on them. And when the storm comes, the foundation liquefies. Look at your circle. Who are the people who always play devil's advocate when someone hurts you? Who are the people who say, well, maybe he didn't mean it like that, when he clearly meant it exactly like that? They are not trying to give you perspective. They are trying to avoid the discomfort of loyalty. Loyalty is uncomfortable. Loyalty costs something. Loyalty means making enemies. If your friend is afraid to make enemies, they are not your friend. They are just a fan, and fans are fickle. Dante Alighieri, a fellow Florentine of Machiavelli, reserved the hottest places in hell not for the violent, but for those who, in times of moral crisis, preserved their neutrality. Why? Because the violent man at least has conviction. The neutral man has only self-preservation. Do not trust the person who is friends with your enemies. It is a mathematical impossibility. If they are drinking with the person who is trying to poison you, they are handing them the cup. Cut them loose. Let them be neutral in the void. You need allies who are willing to bleed, not spectators who are eating popcorn while you fight for your life. Traitor sign number 3. The grandstander of virtue, the moral performer. I hate drama. I am an empath. I never lie. I'm just a nice guy, that's my problem. The loudest announcements in a room are usually the biggest lies. In psychology, this is called reaction formation. It is a defense mechanism where a person obsessively portrays the opposite of what they actually are because they are terrified of their own nature. The person who constantly tells you how much they hate drama is always the source of the drama. The person who constantly tells you how honest they are is usually getting ready to deceive you. Machiavelli wrote extensively about the appearance of virtue. He advised princes that it is not necessary to have all the virtues, but it is necessary to appear to have them. Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience who you really are. But here is the twist. The modern manipulator has read the playbook. They know that to hide their dark triad traits, narcissism, Machiavellianism, psychopathy, they must wear the mask of a saint. They don't just act good, they perform goodness. They share social justice posts 20 times a day. They talk loudly about their charity work. They judge others for their moral failings. They position themselves as the mom or dad of the group, the protector, the conscience. This is camouflage. A truly good person does not need to advertise their goodness. Goodness is quiet. Integrity is silent. It is demonstrated in action, not in press releases. When someone is broadcasting their morality, they are selling you something, and if they are selling, you should check your wallet. This type of person is the most dangerous of the three because they weaponize morality against you. If you catch them in a lie, they will flip the script. How can you accuse me after everything I've done for you? I'm the only one who cares about you. They use their virtue as a shield. You cannot attack them because they are so nice. You cannot question them because they are so spiritual. But pay attention to the disconnect. Watch the person who is so nice to you but rude to the waiter. Watch the person who preaches loyalty but gossips about their other best friend the moment they leave the room. Watch the person who claims to be humble but dominates every conversation with their own achievements. The mask always slips. Machiavelli warns that the wolf does not knock on the door and say, "I am here to eat you." The wolf puts on the skin of the sheep. He bleats, he grazes, he waits until the shepherd is asleep. The moral performer is the sheepskin. You must develop the eyes of a predator to spot another predator. When you see someone trying too hard to convince you of their character, ask yourself, what are they trying to distract me from? Usually it is a void, a lack of empathy, a deep, cold narcissism that views you as an object to be used. They want you to trust their words so you stop looking at their hands, and their hands are stealing from you. We have identified the 3 archetypes: the premature confessor, the pathological neutral, and the moral performer. You are listening to this, and faces are popping into your head. You feel a tightness in your chest. That is your intuition finally waking up from the sedative you fed it. But the question remains, why didn't you see it before? Why do we keep trusting these people until they destroy us? It is because of a psychological glitch called normalcy bias. We assume that things will continue as they are. We assume that because someone hasn't stabbed us yet, they won't stab us ever. We are addicted to the status quo. To acknowledge that your best friend is a pathological neutral means you have to have a confrontation. It means you have to be lonely for a while. It means you have to admit you were wrong. The human ego hates admitting it was wrong more than it hates being betrayed, so you make excuses for them. He's just going through a hard time. Premature confessor. She just doesn't like conflict. Pathological neutral. He just really cares about doing the right thing. Moral performer. You gaslight yourself. Stop it. Machiavelli did not write The Prince for people who wanted to be comfortable. He wrote it for people who wanted to survive. Survival requires the death of your illusions. You have to be willing to look at the people you love and see them not for who you want them to be, but for who they are. This is the cold read. In the next section, we are going to go deeper. We are going to discuss how to test these people, because suspicion is not enough. You need proof. Machiavelli believed in testing the structural integrity of a fortress before a siege. You must test the structural integrity of your relationships. I am going to give you the specific psychological pressure points, the tests of loyalty, that will force these masks to fall off. When you apply pressure, things break. And it is better that they break now while the stakes are low than later when you have everything to lose. Prepare yourself. We are moving from observation to action. You have your suspicion. You see the signs. The premature confessor is draining your energy. The pathological neutral is hesitating. The moral performer is preaching too loud. But you are not a tyrant. You do not execute without trial. You need certainty. Machiavelli was a scientist of power. He did not believe in guessing. He believed in empirical evidence. He wrote, "One must never allow disorder to continue so as to escape a war." Meaning, do not ignore the red flag to keep the peace. Provoke the conflict to find the truth. You must administer a stress test. Engineers do not assume a bridge is strong. They drive heavy trucks over it to see if it cracks. You must drive a truck over your relationships. Here are the 3 methods to shatter the mask. Test 1. The no test for the premature confessor. The premature confessor uses vulnerability to create obligation. They want you to feel responsible for them. They want to merge with you. To test them, you must erect a wall. The next time they dump a crisis on you, or ask for a favor, or demand your time, say no. Do not apologize. Do not offer a long explanation. Just say, "I can't do that right now," or "I don't have the capacity to discuss this." Watch the reaction. A healthy person will respect the boundary. They will say, "Okay, I understand," and they will move on. The manipulator will panic. Their mask will crack. They will try to make you feel guilty. "I thought you were my friend. I have no one else to talk to. You're abandoning me." Or they will get angry. They will turn cold. They will withdraw to punish you. This reaction tells you everything. It proves that their vulnerability was not a request for connection. It was a demand for submission. When you refused to submit, the predator revealed its teeth. If a no destroys the relationship, it wasn't a relationship. It was a parasitic attachment. Test 2. The public defense. Test for the pathological neutral. The neutral wants to play both sides. They want to exist in the shadows where it is safe. Drag them into the light. Create a situation where they are forced to take a public stance. It doesn't have to be a war. It can be an opinion, a decision, a preference. We need to make a decision on this project. I think we should go left. John thinks we should go right. Where do you stand? Do not let them say, "Both have good points." Look them in the eye. Hold the silence. I need to know which path you support. Watch them squirm. Watch them sweat. The neutral is terrified of accountability. They will try to deflect. They will try to make a joke. They will try to delay. If they cannot support you in a small decision, they will never support you in a crisis. Or raise the stakes. Share a controversial opinion that you know is true but unpopular. See if they back you up, or if they look around the room to see what the group thinks first. If they check the room before they check their conscience, they are not your ally. They belong to the herd. and the herd will trample you the moment you trip. Test 3. The withdrawal of praise. Test for the moral performer. The moral performer runs on fuel. That fuel is validation. They need to be told they are good, kind, and special. Cut the fuel line. Stop praising them. Stop reacting to their virtue signaling. When they tell you about their charity work, simply nod and say, "Cool." When they post their self-righteous rants, do not like it. Treat them as if their goodness is normal, expected, boring even. Narcissists hate being bored. They hate being ordinary. If you stop feeding their ego, they will escalate. They will do something more dramatic to get your attention. Or they will start to devalue you. They will make subtle digs. You don't seem to care about these issues. You've become very distant. They will try to provoke a reaction because negative attention is better than no attention. By starving their vanity, you force the monster to come out of the cave. You will see the rage behind the smile. You will see how quickly their unconditional love turns into conditional hate. Now you know. You have seen the signs. You have run the tests. The results are in. You are surrounded by people who cannot be trusted. This realization brings a heavy feeling. It brings grief. You might feel the urge to burn everything down, to scream at them, to expose them. Stop. Machiavelli warns against useless anger. He who desires to be obeyed must know how to command. And the first person you must command is yourself. Do not create a scene. Do not announce your departure. The amateur announces they are leaving. The master just disappears. If you confront a manipulator, you give them one last chance to manipulate you. They will cry. They will gaslight. They will spin the story to make you look like the crazy one. Do not give them the microphone. Use the fade. Slowly withdraw your energy. Become boring. Become busy. Become unavailable. The premature confessor will find a new ear to bleed into. The pathological neutral will find a new strong person to hide behind. The moral performer will find a new audience to clap for them. Let them. Your goal is not to fix them. Your goal is to secure your perimeter. You are building a kingdom of the mind, of finance, of spirit. You cannot have spies inside the walls. You cannot have saboteurs at the dinner table. This is the cold truth of adulthood. Your circle should decrease in size, but increase in value. A table of 12 where 6 are hiding knives is not a feast, it is an ambush. A table of 2 where loyalty is absolute is an empire. So, do you trust no one? Do you become a paranoid recluse, watching shadows, alone in the dark? No, that is weakness. That is fear masquerading as wisdom. Machiavelli did not say, trust no one. He said, trust yourself to see reality. The ultimate goal of this dark knowledge is not isolation. It is precision. When you learn to spot the fakes, you can finally appreciate the real. And they exist. There are men and women who possess the old virtues. They speak little, but do much. They pick a side and stay there even when it rains. They do not advertise their honor. They simply live it. When you find these people, you treat them like gold. You protect them. You return their loyalty tenfold. But you can only find them if you clear the weeds. You have been wasting your water on dead plants. You have been giving your best energy to the confessors, the neutrals, and the performers. You have been trying to turn stones into bread. Stop. Reclaim your energy. Pull it back into your core. When you stop needing to be liked, you can start being respected. When you stop fearing betrayal, you can start building alliances. The world is a dangerous place. It is full of traps. But the most dangerous trap is your own blindness. Open your eyes. Look at the people around you. Who is holding the knife? Who is hiding in the middle? Who is wearing the mask? See them, acknowledge them, and then, silently, ruthlessly, remove them. Because you have work to do. And you cannot climb the mountain if you are carrying dead weight. There is one final person you must check, the hardest person to see. Look in the mirror. Are you the premature confessor using your pain to trap others? Are you the neutral, too cowardly to stand for your friends? Are you the performer, acting good instead of being real? Machiavelli wrote, "It is double pleasure to deceive the deceiver." Do not deceive yourself. The sword of truth cuts both ways. If you want loyalty, you must be loyal. If you want strength, you must be strong. If you want a circle of kings, you must stop acting like a courtier. Clean your own house first, then seal the gates. The world does not reward the naive, it eats them. The world does not reward the paranoid, it ignores them. The world rewards the perceptive. Be the one who sees, be the one who knows, be the one who cannot be taken by surprise. That is the ultimate power. Not controlling others, but seeing them so clearly that they can never control you. Walk in silence, watch the hands, and trust only what is proven. If this opened your eyes, understand this is only what I can show publicly. There are videos I cannot upload for everyone. There are aspects of dark psychology that I simply cannot discuss publicly on YouTube without being censored or demonetized. The algorithm suppresses the most powerful information. Those exist behind the join button. If you're still here, you're not like the others. Subscribe if you haven't. But if you want what's hidden, click the join button and step into the architect level. You will unlock exclusive, uncensored videos that dive into the deepest parts of the human psyche. Most won't. That's the point.